Why are we
I
doubting?
think it's because she's talked to you before.
Well, that's not. Listen. Many people have talked to me before, but listen. All right. Okay, we are live.
Chill. I've done it.
Here.
Hi, Spaghetti.
Are we on YouTube? We are on YouTube. Okay. Okay. All right, we're in pre-show meme.
I actually need to look back over some of this stuff again.
Did
Getting a little
you
forgetful, are we?
did you actually finish rereading, or are you just going on vibes?
Ari,
I had the volume in front of me.
That's basically the same thing. Wait, I just linked Girls Last Tour again. Wait, why did I link Girls Last Tour again? Fuck. I got the link right everywhere else, I think. I hope. I pray. I did.
If you put the textbook under your pillow, you can actually psychically absorb all the information.
I like how this is the second
me
incident
delete
of
this.
Ari going off the
Posting it.
vibes for the book club.
Okay, but I actually read this one, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Allegedly.
What do you mean allegedly?
That remains to be seen.
Say it in red, Ari.
I really should have added the red sound effect to my soundboard when we were reading Umineko.
You really should have.
I mean, it's not too late, but it is kind of too late, you know?
Wait, no, you can still do it. Look, Umineko is timeless, okay? It can always be added in.
True!
I knew there was at least one thing that Shadow was immediately going to bring up as an Umineko reference as soon as he was like, your sin. And I'm like, okay, all right, I know what Shadow's about to post in spoilers. I know what he's going to post in spoilers.
Look, you know I'm right, though, is the problem. That is an accurate statement to make. There's no...
I'm pretty sure you're Shadow, actually.
I got fucking damn it.
I didn't actually come up with a new name based on this series yet for myself in the server. And I'm not going to this week, too, because I want to, or at least not yet.
Howard.
So I will just set it to not be Kettenborg anymore. For now, at least. Because we are no longer riding the Kettencrad. That was what it was called, right? I don't even remember anymore. It's gone. It's gone forever.
Fucking died.
Let's see here. Close all these tabs. I wanted to make sure I had some background info correct for the talks. And I believe I got my notes about it.
Here is the edition I'm reading.
The edition you are reading? Oh boy. Oh yeah, because you have it physically. Ooh.
Yeah, I think this is, aside from Solo Stay Cage, I think this is the only one that any book club that I own.
Oh my god, this is very nice. Wait, let me show this on stream.
Hold on.
Yeah, you can show any of them.
Hold on, Ari. So you tell me you don't own all, like, 50 volumes of Umineko?
Shadow?
That's just expensive.
For the past decade, I have thought
You've been
about
slowly
the
collecting.
singular moment when I was at Books A Million, when I was in, like, middle school or early high school.
No.
And the thing was, if I went to Books A Million, my parents agreed that I could get one book. It had to be under $15.
Okay.
But if it was under $15, I could get it. I always think about how they had Umineko, and I didn't get any of them.
Oh god.
Oh.
I got Higurashi instead.
Okay, so you know what? Fair enough.
Is the
And this is
Higurashi
Wolfborg.
manga expensive nowadays, or?
No, because that actually has some reprints.
Oh.
So,
Is each of those books
Yeah, it's pretty easy to get your hands on.
What'd you say, Aztec?
oh, and let me.
No, each of the Pandora Hearts books you have, are those 2 volumes?
They're omnibus versions, yeah. So they're not exactly 2 volumes each.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
I think they're kind of. I'm not actually sure, but
Well, it looks like there's 12 of them, and there is 24 main volumes, but they may have also done some weird overlapping and stuff, because the last one looks pretty thick compared to the other ones, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how they line up. They're special edition omnibuses. I'm gonna take a picture of the first volume, which did not take a great picture, but I will.
Oh yeah, I gotta know if the covers are different.
Yes. So what they do is the front of them, they have just a bunch of the colored artworks, and they have it's a gold inlay on the front of it, and it's got a hole, and that opens
so
to
pretty.
yeah, to one of the covers. And they have several of the colored illustrations for the first few pages and stuff. I don't know if if the other physical edition, I used to have one of the volumes just regular as a
Oh, I
physical, but
see.
I got rid of it. It's the first like 4 pages of this one are colored, like the manga pages. But yeah,
I believe that's the
that's
same on ours.
okay. But yeah, these are really nice ones. I think the set was only like 175,
Oh wow.
190,
Oh wow.
which was like, holy shit.
God damn.
It was more expensive after shipping, but it was still like sub 250, which is incredible for a manga that's out of print and also in this box.
Holy shit.
Yeah, Yin Press just did a random reprint of it a couple years ago, and I got it then. This is
It
Yin
looks
Press, right?
Yeah, this is the Unpress, yeah. It looks
Yeah,
very,
Yin
very
Press.
nice. Definitely seems
Yeah.
worth it.
Yep.
All right, let's see here. Are we waiting for anybody? I know Andy messaged and said that they are still on the way, and so they might be listening in, but they might not actually be able to join into the talks until a little later. So we don't have to wait up for them for too much. Are we waiting on anybody else? I think this is pretty much everybody, right? We have 1, 2,
What you're
3,
telling me
6, 7, 8. We
is
got
that
like
the
8
new
people.
point now is to pull an Umineko
Big
install
turnout
for
for this
30
one.
minutes.
What'd you say, Shadow?
We pull an Umineko install for 30 minutes. That's the plan now.
We are not stalling for 30 minutes. No, we are not doing this here. Okay, we are going to get started with our Pandora Hearts discussion. So let's get set up for that. Everything is ready on my end. I did remember to post everywhere, right? I didn't forget, and I fixed the link that I posted. Yes, I did. Okay. People can actually view this shit proper now. Can you believe it? Incredible. I know. It's amazing. All right, let's get going. I'm going to take off the pre-show. Welcome everybody to another exciting week of the Anime Book Club here on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick all at the same time. Back after like 2-3 weeks of being gone, I'm back, and so is Book Club. So we are here to discuss Pandora Hearts, the next new series for the Book Club discussion. But before we get into that, let's go into our guests for this week, starting in alphabetical order of the Discord things as usual. Remia, introduce yourself.
Oh, damn it. Somehow I'm always surprised when I'm first.
Start the letter A.
Hi.
Girl,
Shout-
how?
Yeah, get her ass.
Hi, I'm Arumia. I like shonen shit like Pandora Hearts. I don't have any recommendations this week. I finished reading Mamiya, which is a VN. Didn't actually technically finish it because in order to finish it, you have to buy the DLC, which is the 3rd episode. So I haven't actually technically finished it since I haven't read that yet. But I finished the main part of it. It was good. That's about all.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that. Next up, Aztec. Introduce yourself.
I'm Aztec. I mostly watch Bad Isekai and whatever's popular that season.
Did they ever overlap? Do they ever overlap? Is there an overlap?
How often do they
They
overlap?
used to. We're kind of at the bottom of the barrel for the last 3 years, but
I see. All right. Well,
recommendations this week. If you like, what is it called? Animal Crossing and RuneScape, play Fantasy Life that just came out.
I keep hearing about that.
It's very strong Animal Crossing, very light RuneScape.
all right. Well, then go check that out if you are interested in that. Thank you so much for that, Aztec. Now, next up, technically on stream, it's listing Baguetti for reasons I don't know. Is it like Baguetti's name on Fugi is different than their name on here? I'm not sure. But
She updated her nickname.
Shrug.
oh, well, we'll just go by what Discord's saying. So next up is Lady Galaxy. Introduce yourself.
Oh, fuck me.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi. I'm Marianne, or Anne, whichever you prefer. Recommendation. I started watching Sound Euphonium off a
Ooh.
friend's warning. It's good so far. I like it a lot.
What was the warning?
That it kind of queer baits
Yeah.
like really heavily.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good warning to go in with that. All right. Well, anything else?
No.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Next up, Sinnerman V4. Introduce yourself.
I show the thing I recommend this week.
Hell of a name.
God fucking damn you, Ari.
You did it!
I did.
Okay, go
You're
on, Shadow. What's up?
interrupting me.
What's up with What's up,
Alright.
Shadow?
The thing I recommend is Dory Doro, okay?
That's true. It's good. It's good. We just finished watching the season 1 anime, and season 2 is going to be coming out at some point this year. It's good. Go check it out. The manga and the
I don't
anime.
know. Strangely, despite us having some issues at the end, I'm looking back on it fondly. You know, it's strange.
I watching the anime just reminded me of how fucking fun the series was or can be. So I'm just like, oh hell yeah, go check out Doridoro. It's good. All right, anything else, Shadow?
No, that'll be all.
All right. Next up, Sinner Shino. Introduce yourself.
I'm Shino. I like girls, and my recommendation for this week is Little Busters. It's my favorite KVN.
All right, Little Busters. All right, go check that out if you are interested in that.
Finally, buses are Ari's height.
Wow, damn. Next up.
Excuse me?
Okay, next up, Turando. Introduce yourself.
He's not here.
Oh yeah, he's saying, give me a second. He's got stuff. Okay, all right. So next up, Wolfborg. Oh my God, that's me, Wolfborg, aka Chaplin, aka the best anime book club host ever of all time. I am here to recommend. I had one in mind earlier, and now I don't remember. So I'm just gonna suggest that you go watch Konosuba. I finished up season 3 of Konosuba, and it's good. So go watch Konosuba. I would recommend it, I think. Yeah, it's a fun time. So, that's me. Next up, I believe this says Emily Fan Club. Introduce yourself,
Yes.
Spaghetti.
Hi, I'm Spaghetti. I am an illustrator. I usually am in the chat, so if you've seen me in Twitch or YouTube, I'm usually there. But I wanted to join because I really love this series. And my recommendation is Witch Hat Atelier because they released a trailer last night
Oh my
for the
God.
anime. So
I didn't know about this.
that's gonna be really cool. You gotta follow the JP fans. You gotta follow the JP fans.
Holy shit. Wow.
You didn't tell me.
I thought you knew. I didn't want to be presumptuous.
Ari, just crying in a corner.
It's okay.
Wait,
I'll
not
send you some
presuming.
Oberon later. I'll send you some
Already
Oberon.
presumed.
I
did-
got the plug.
I did see quite a few Witch Hat Atelier cosplays when I was at Anime Boston, so it was very nice to see them. And I interviewed one of them. They weren't supposed to be a character; they were just in the outfit, I guess. But it was still nice to talk with them. All right, so go check that if you're interested in that. Thank you so much for joining us here, Baguetti. And if you are listening to this stuff and you ever want to join it, change from being a chatter to being a part of the stream for whatever series, you are all able to as well if you just join discord.wolfborg.com. Keep that in mind. So let's begin. Wait, actually, is Turndo back? Turndo, are you here?
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back.
Okay, introduce yourself, Turndo.
Well, hello everyone. I'm Turndo, and I like to read.
And that's all you need in order to be here. So, welcome everybody back again from our break. I had a great time at my cons, and now I'm back here to talk about manga with all of you. Starting Pandora Hearts. So, what I have here from Pandora Hearts, the author is Jun Mochizuki. I hope I pronounced that right. Their debut work was a one-shot called Crimson Shell, which is actually a license and also sold by Yen Press. You could go and read this as well. I have not yet, but I marked it as like a plan to read thing. And their current series is the case study of Vanitas, which I remember watching the anime of,
First
and
season. Yeah, I was there.
and I remember thinking this is a lot straighter than I ever expected it to be. It was like aggressively straight. But
I think
mean,
that's a great descriptor for her work. I've only read Pandora Hearts and some of Vanitas, but aggressively straight, almost frustratingly so. But anyway,
like
I feel like the term aggressively straight. That is very funny.
well,
to me.
because like you watch the opening of the case study of Vanitas, and then you get very, very like we are like it's a whole thing. Listen, if you ever experienced the case, I mean, I didn't have a problem with the case study of Vanitas, but I just remembered coming away with that. I was like, oh, this is very different than what I expected this to be. But all right, still a good time.
yeah.
So, anyways, this series. Oh, also, wait, I had a couple other notes. So, the other notes about the author, they were heavily inspired. One of their biggest inspirations is the Full Metal Alchemist author. And they were specifically the reason why they decided to get their work published in through Square Enix, I guess. These are 2 facts for you to know. And the Pandora Hearts manga itself started in May 2006 and went until March 2015 with a total of 24 volumes, which we're going to be reading all through. And it also had a 25-episode anime in the spring of
Which we will not
2009.
watch.
Is it bad? Is it real bad?
it does the Umineko thing where they know they're not going to get more episodes.
It
but
stops
instead of
halfway?
that, not only does it stop halfway, I think like the last 2 episodes, they're just like, okay, well, we're not getting a second season, so let's just make shit up and try to wrap things up and with a new ending.
Oh, no. Oboro in the chat's just saying we don't worry about the anime.
I think the Umineko one is objectively worse just because of the content in it, but they're both pretty bad.
Okay.
Yeah, to be fair, personally, my favorite anime is Umineko, so I'm glad we got a sequel.
All right, so before we actually get started talking with the discussions about this, we have a few people here in the call who I know have had previous experiences with Pandora Hearts. Would any of you guys like to share your previous experiences with Pandora Hearts? Nobody?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'll go first.
Yes.
So, unfortunately, I got to experience the earliest version, and I wouldn't say it was that good. The one thing that bothers me a lot about some of the early localized manga is the lettering. The lettering is really bad. It doesn't really express the individuality of each character, and that is something that I really like from American comics. So it bothered me then, and as I was reading the Yen Press version, I was very delighted and surprised at how good the lettering was. So that is definitely one thing that stuck out to me, and I'm glad they remedied that in the later versions.
Yeah, it definitely was. When we were reading, was it Rose and Maiden and Sailor Moon, reading how those were typeset compared to stuff like this. Oh yeah, it's like worlds apart with what was going on with those. Yeah.
It makes you remember that typesetting is important, because it's easy to forget when you're just reading normal manga nowadays, because it's usually pretty uniform, pretty decently done at the very least. But then you go back even like a decade, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is fan TL, right? they were doing this in MS Paint, right? People didn't pay for this, right?
Oh god.
All right.
I mean, they were probably doing it in MS Paint, but people were paying for it.
Over on the chat said, I kept up with the manga while it was serialized, so I haven't touched it since it ended, but I still absolutely love Pandora Hearts. Oh, hell yeah. Anything else, Big Eddie?
I think that's really it. I mean, like I said, I've had read it, but I really enjoyed it this second time around. I always love the art, but yeah, it kills me when I see that terrible default lettering.
Right. Well, thank you so much for that. Ari, what about you? What's your first experience to Pandora Hearts?
Well, I had heard about it for years. Oh, there it is. Wow, YouTube really knows what I want. That's the opening to the anime, which is like pretty much the only good thing about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I read it a couple of years ago. When I got the box set, because it was one thing that I'd always wanted to read, but it being out of print made that a bit difficult, and the anime not being good. So, and I obviously very much enjoy the aesthetics of Victorian fantasy eras. So, yeah.
All right. Has anybody else here had previous experience with Pandora Hearts?
I read the whole thing when I was serializing as well, like the fan translations, which were pretty crunchy, pretty scuffed. But it was good. I remember almost none of what happened in it, but I guess the fan TL definitely used some terminology differences from the official TL, which kind of stood out.
I see. Yeah, this is one of the series that I physically own the first volume of from one of my many Anime Boston buying like 40 random volume ones purchases. So I had that sitting around. So I read the first volume while I was waiting for my flight to Chicago for Anime Central. So I read that physically, and then the others I'm just going to be reading digitally through my Kindle, because you can get it on Amazon through your Kindle. You can do that. You're allowed to do that. So let's get started with our discussion about Pandora Hearts. First question. How much of Lewis Carroll is required reading before getting into Pandora Hearts, or is it primarily just inspirations of things?
So,
They seem to
I
be
think-
explaining most of it in like the afterword.
Yeah, I did notice that, yeah.
I have not touched many of that era classic stuff that they mention. The Hound of Baskerville is my next read. I'll probably do next week. But like, aside from that, I think it's pretty much a little bit more than surface level, but not really too in depth.
Okay. So there's not like going to be
there
like
is-
big references that I'm only really going to know the symbolic meaning of if I read these things. It's mostly going to be like maybe like a name reference, like what was it, Deedle Dum or whatever.
Yeah, it's for the most part, from what I remember, it's mostly like name references, and if you understand the name, you might get a little bit more out of it. But it's just a lot of fairy tale references.
Okay.
So it's not Umineko. Got it.
Nothing's Umineko.
That's true. Many
Except
things are
it-
not Umineko, but everything
Even
references
Umineko is
Umineko.
not
Everything
Umineko.
is Umineko.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. Listen, let's we're not here to talk about Battler. We're here to talk about Oz. Okay. Now let me just check to make sure I'm pronouncing his last name right. Vesalius.
Fuck.
Nailed it.
Spaghetti, help me.
See, I'm not the only one who needs
My
practice.
last
Okay.
name.
Vesalius.
I think
Vesalius.
Vesalius is fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think in Japanese it'd
mean-
be like fuck, I can't do this. I'm muting.
His
Alright.
last name is Viz Media.
True. I kept thinking that. I was
Oh,
like,
yes.
oh, all right. All right. So our boy
Easy.
Oz is our main guy. We're introduced to him right before his coming of age ceremony. I think he just turned 15 for the coming of age ceremony. And this is for like the members of the family to give like an oath during a whole ritual thing to officially make their I don't know, more royal declaration to the family or something to that effect. And it's during this event where the main inciting incident of our story happens. But before that, we're introduced to several kind of side characters. We're introduced to Oscar. We're introduced to Gil. We're introduced to his sister, who I think is Ada.
Ada,
yeah.
who I was immediately like, oh, where did she go? After like
Yeah.
the first half of the first volume, I was like, oh, we're not very concerned about where the sister is, huh?
Don't worry about it.
Oh,
Don't worry,
okay, well, not concerned about that. Also noticed the sudden disappearance of Oscar. I don't remember if he got killed or something. I don't know, but listen, things happened. A lot of things happened, and Oz is gone places now. But we were also introduced to Sharon Rainsworth, who is of another royal family, who meets Oz, and Oz is immediately like, I want to marry her when I grow up. Like, immediately.
Oz is like that about a lot of people.
Gil is supposed to be his, like, servant slash, I think they were saying valet.
Yeah, basically just a personal butler.
Yeah.
Manservant.
Who,
Yeah, Gilbert.
who I guess it's revealed to us later, they were basically like an orphan who had lost their memories and then were just took in by Oscar to take care of Oz, or to be, because they were around Oz's age, I'm assuming, just like be there for Oz, I guess. And so we have these like child characters introduced, Oz, Gil, Ada, and they're kind of fucking around before the beginning of the ceremony. And it's during this fucking around phase that they in fact find out, in terms of discovering a weird watch and entering a weird dream sequence, which introduced us to Alice, but it seemed like a different version of the Alice we got to hang out with later on. Things happened. We were introduced to the creepy looking monsters, and then we were brought back to the world for the ceremony. And then the ceremony goes wrong for reasons of evil organization fucking with things. I believe they were called the Baskerville, the like red cloak dudes.
Yes, the Baskervilles.
Yeah.
The Baskervilles. And then they interrupt the ceremony. They try to punish Oz for his sin. They claim his sin is his very existence for reasons that are unclear to us at this time.
I mean, as you do.
But these words seem
That's all
to...
our parents said at one point.
That's true. That's true. These words seem to personally hurt Oz, not even just when they're said to him, but also when they're said later on to another character in some similar way. So there's some significance that Oz doesn't seem to realize yet about these words, potentially, I felt. But we will see more about that. We are introduced to the world of the Abyss, like a supernatural prison type world thing. I don't know if it was supposed to be like purgatory or something. But this is where all the weird shit happens, including the monsters called chains. I believe that's what... if I'm understanding right, the chains are basically the monsters of the Abyss that can also form contracts with people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if the contract is
Weird little
not...
demon things.
if the contract is not a formal thing, like an official thing through some means that the Pandora organization seems to know, then you are basically being slowly consumed by the chain, or something is happening where there's like a ticking clock on your life now, literally, with like a weird imprint on your chest of a clock, and if it moves to the final rotation, then you die, or something happens to you that seems to be not good, as far as I can tell. And our boy Oz enters into one of these kind of contracts with Alice in order to fight some things that are in the Abyss and leave. It reminded me very similar of the beginning of Rose and Maiden, where she shows up and is like, you have to form a contract or you're going to get killed by this thing that's in the room with us right now. And so they do. And they form the contract and then they're together. Alice is also known as the Black Rabbit or Bee Rabbit. They keep calling her Bee Rabbit at times, and I have to keep reminding myself. I have to keep reminding myself. It doesn't mean bunny rabbit. It means like black rabbit or something.
I keep thinking bitch rabbit.
Bitch rabbit.
See, I was thinking first name Bee, last name Rabbit.
I kept thinking of I couldn't remember what Eminem's name in 8 Mile was supposed to be, but I thought it was something about rabbit in that one. So I didn't know if his name in that was B. So every time I kept saying B Rabbit, I just kept thinking of 8 Mile. This is a wild connection to make to Pandora Hearts, but yeah. Anyways,
I'll connect the chat.
Well, you see
One
Eminem
of the
songs are on
strangest
Pandora.
references.
Oh my god. All right, so okay. With all this intro section of the things, before we get into everybody gotten used to everything or whatever, how do we feel about our introduction to our characters and some of these concepts, and how do we feel currently about like people like Oz and Gil? What are our thoughts?
I had 2 main thoughts for this section.
Yes.
The first one was like Gil was shown being scared of cats. And that has to come back for something.
I'm sure it will.
Finally, a main character I can relate to.
I did notice just how cruel Oz would be to like to Gil, but they were still just best bros.
Oz is a little sociopath. It's great.
I did get a chance to take a picture of it. I don't know if somebody else did, but there was like a frame where Oz is just like making Gil do a whole bunch of stuff, and he's just like, yeah, I just like seeing you like, you know, tortured and suffering.
Oh, I have it, Chef. Don't you worry. I got you.
Oh my god, cheap viewers, I can't wait. Get out of here. Oh, if I ban them, it doesn't remove the message from the scene element thing? Okay, well, that's cool.
Oh
well,
my fucking god. God damn you, scene elements.
That's cool. It'll go away eventually. Okay, what else were you saying, Aztec? I don't know if you had anything else.
The second thing, like in the opening sequence that I really thought was like, all right, so they immediately talk about how Oz has absentee parents, specifically his father.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Oscar's his uncle, right? Oscar's his uncle.
Yep.
Okay.
And then during the whole kerfuffle at the ceremony, Gil jumps in front of him, just like, no, don't, gets stabbed. One of those people in the robe was definitely one of his parents.
Oh, yeah. Probably. That was one thing I didn't fully pick up on as a potential thing to think about, but what I did know, I was like, Gil's not gone. I was immediately like, we made this too important of a character in too short of a time for me to get to understand him anymore. He stands out too much for him to just be gone. I'm like, he's got it. He's still there. I don't know how we're going to pull it, but he's still going to be there. And lo and behold, the weird, quiet guy who looks like an older version of Gil did in fact turn out to be Gil. I was like, this is the most... That I think was the most instant, okay, I know where we're going with this. I don't know how exactly we're going to get there, but weird time travel shenanigans have caused... Gil to not only be alive but older. I don't know in which direction this has happened, and then it turned out it was that that Oz just went to the future, I guess. But
I'm so glad you phrased it like that because I want to show you my notes page.
What's your notes page?
Oh no.
All right, let's see here. Where am I looking?
Just Anime Book Club chat.
Okay, let's see. It says
that is the entirety of the notes I took for this reading.
Okay,
no idea what's happening here.
Aztec's notes are the following: Gil being scared of cats is Chekhov's gun. Chekhov's ICBM even. Then there's I have no idea what's happening here. And then there's one of the people in the black robes, Baskerville, is almost certainly one of his parents. $5 says dad. Then there's this gives strong Kingdom Hearts vibes. I did feel the same. And then there's, God damn it, there's going to be time travel shenanigans, isn't there? Page 30, volume 2 is specifically what he called this. Okay, all right.
What were you actually? Hold on.
I recognize potential time travel shenanigans from like 3 incidents. One was meeting Alice in the first instance, and then meeting Alice later on. I was like, okay, the Alice from before seems to have known him much longer, in some way. So I don't know what's going on with that. So, all right, so that's one potential hint towards it. Then all the stuff about Gil. The Gil stuff was, now that we know that there's time travel shenanigans with that, now we know. The third one was, I'm pretty sure there were several times. Time travel shenanigans. I don't know if there's like an older version of Oz that just keeps like talking to him in some dream sequence every now and then, or if that's supposed to be his dad. But every time I look at like the face, you can
They kept
only
calling
half
it
see.
the intent of the abyss.
I wasn't sure. Yeah, I do
I
remember
think
they
that's
kept
what they were
mentioning
referring
that.
to, the blonde guy.
So I noticed that character and I was just like, this is either going to be like Oz himself or like his dad or something. I don't know. Time travel shenanigans has now been introduced, so I don't know what this is about. But I just know that the Alice from the very beginning seems to have had a very detailed history with Oz by the time Oz has met up with them again. So I was just like, oh, interesting. But I mean.
They also repeatedly mention that people form these contracts because they want to change the past.
Yes. How they are capable of doing that, we're not entirely sure. We know that a flower girl that Oz met, seemed to have formed a contract with one of them, and then ran out the clock, and then was consumed by the thing. What were the conditions it said to actually change the past? Was it just forming the contract
I don't think
in general?
they give
or?
like successful options.
Oh, okay. I see.
I think it's all
see.
failure. Right.
Just kind of delaying going to hell once you make the contract.
I
you
see.
do.
I see. Okay.
Wait, hold
Okay.
on, Chip. Quick question. We're talking about this guy, right?
Yes, that
Yeah.
guy. That guy right there.
Okay.
I'm just
okay.
like, yeah. What do you got? What do you got? I'll show him on screen too.
Okay, well, I was looking, I'm like, hold on a second. Battler, what are you doing here?
Oh God.
It's not Battler.
It's Battler. It's him.
Put it down.
He's in here like it was small bombs. It was all small bombs. What was your sin, Oz?
He's the game master now.
Nox's rules will not
This
help
time
you
it's actually
here.
different.
Put
It's
them
just
down.
one very big bomb.
Oh.
Actually, I guess that was it in Umineko too.
That go all the way down, I'll tell you.
It's always Umineko. I was trying to think of what else I had to say. So the main incident where Oz ends up in the abyss is like in the middle of the ceremony. They're fucking with it. They specifically fuck with it by disguising as Gil, in the middle of the ceremony. And I don't remember the details of what happened afterwards, but it was just
I
like
don't think they disguised. I think they like possessed him.
oh, okay,
Yeah, one of them like
Did that puppet
possessed
marionette
him.
bullshit.
yeah, the
Yeah.
marionette thing from later. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. And they did that to infiltrate the ceremony, and then when the time was right, I guess the clock during the ceremony it was supposed to not make any noise, and then it did. So they were like, "Is the prophecy come true?"
Where it seems like it's something where it's just this like antique that they've had around that's never really done anything, and there's this weird unrelated, or well, not unrelated prophecy, but just this prophecy that like other people know about, and it has to do with the clock going off.
Right. And so I just remembered the fighting starting, and then I'm like, okay, where's Oscar? Where's Oscar? What happened to Oscar? Where is he? Where's Ada? Where's the other characters? Where are they? And then we get pulled into the abyss. We get pulled into the abyss, and that's where we eventually meet Alice. We meet her seemingly for the first time from her perspective, and then we go into a battle with another chain who is pretending to be Sharon, claiming to know a way out of the abyss, who's just trying to trick Oz, and then Alice comes to save him if he forms a contract with her, and then they form the contract, and then they get taken out of the abyss by actual Sharon, and
No, I think they do it themselves. Actually, I think.
they do it themselves, and then they meet up with Sharon, and
They're just kind of waiting there.
Break.
As you do.
Now, is Break supposed to be related to Sharon, or is Break just another member of the Pandora thing?
They're not related, but he is basically her older brother figure.
I see. Okay. So, like serving for the family and looking after her and things like that. I see.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So that's Break. Break also has a little puppet, I think. That was the thing that was named Emily, right? The little puppet. Is that what that
Yeah.
was? I didn't.
Yes, and I am the fan club president.
Okay. All right. Fair.
Emily.
True. Sorry.
We
Sorry.
all
I
like a
didn't.
little bit of clown around, you know.
Happens.
And they were a big fan of that phrase for Break.
Oh yeah, calling him a clown. Oh yeah, I remembered when Oz saying a line towards Alice. He was like, "That's the girl that molested me." I'm like, "Whoa."
It was a different time.
It's a different time.
This
sure.
is from 2006. This was a different time.
I just remember there was
It
a
also
translator.
just wasn't an inaccurate statement.
I mean,
It's not inaccurate.
I just remember there was a translator note for it at the end too. So I was like, it was one of those lines that just stuck out. I was like, oh, okay, that's an interesting way to phrase it. Okay, but this is from well, actually, I don't know when it got localized, but the original manga is from like 2016 or whatever. So, but the translator's note said they officially used the was it Sekuhara or whatever. So they used that in the original. So, anyways, I remember that line. What else did we have here? Wait,
What
who
up?
joined?
I'm Andy, aka Nyan Bacon. You should buy my commissions. I have things to say.
Okay, what are the things you have to say?
Okay, number one, we all notice that they keep calling Oz a key, right? And the company is called Pandora, and Pandora
Sure.
and key notoriously in plastic literature are very bad when they go together. Okay, that aside. Number two, kind of like noticing that there's a little bit of like similarities between the intent of the Abyss and the little girl character from Summertime Rendering. Okay,
Oh my
number
God.
three, Manitoba, I see you, okay? I don't know which came out, Pandora Hearts or Black Butler, but number one, okay? Break way too much like The Undertaker. If you know, you know, and if you don't, you'll find out. Number two, obsessed with the fact that the
Is
black
this number two? Okay.
companion to the main character hates cats in Pandora Hearts, but in Black Butler, Sebastian loves cats. I think that's cute. I think that's funny. I feel like I had a third thing, but I forgot.
No, I
What's the third
I
thing?
know what it is. I know the third thing. The third thing is you connect this to mer people somehow.
No, I can't do that. Admist isn't here.
No, that was
That was-
Justin. That was Justin that would do
That
that.
was Justin. That was Justin.
That was
Justin's
Justin.
not here.
There's no more mer people
really-
yet.
I really wish I had the graph. There's a popular meme graph that goes around that's like the Victorian trifecta of things were fucked in the Victorian era, where it's Pandora, Hearts, D. Grayman, and Black Butler.
It's reminding me so much of Black Butler, dude. It's crazy. Oh, you know what? I remember what the fourth thing was. What if Oz's sin is existing because he's his own dad? He pulled a Fry, like, no.
He pulled a Fry.
I mean, that
Whoa.
has to be canon.
That's canon now. You can't prove it wrong.
I mean, taking that for a more serious note, I'm assuming he's like a half breed because they keep referring to Baskervilles as a different race.
Yeah, I mean, that's possible.
Or something was like the parallel that was provided.
Hmm.
There's another thing that I thought of on my drive home based on something you guys had said, and now I'm blanking on what it was.
We
Anyway,
talked about.
hello.
Was there any other
Is it-
thoughts about
is it
Gil?
that one
Or...
behind the curtain?
Oh yeah, the guy behind the curtain. Who do you think that is?
Oh, he's very obviously a character from Black Butler who is acting as one of the Queen's companions who stopped
I
Ciel
see.
from doing anything that the Queen didn't approve of. And
I
when I
see.
show you the design, you'll know exactly why I think that.
I see.
Me and Andy talked about this
Ari's
yesterday.
laughing
We
because
know.
she knows who I'm talking.
I actually have not read much of Black Butler.
This was in the anime.
I've watched 2 episodes of the anime. Yeah, I definitely don't know who this is. I'm sorry. I will say you're right on one aspect of the design, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Ooh.
Anyway, I think those. you guys mentioned that it was kind of weird and interesting and kind of funny, haha, that there's obviously some association with the notion that like you're not supposed to exist or like you're worthless or whatever. That phrase very obviously triggers something in Oz, and I remember that I took a screenshot of one of the things that he said about like trauma or whatever. He's just like, yeah, I just kind of like ignore it. Like the future is gonna be better, so why focus on what happened in the past? And I'm like, oh baby, you have trauma-induced memory loss, honey.
Yeah, I was gonna say one of the things I wanted to mention this week is that there's seems to be a recurring theme of characters who just don't remember things from their past. Like that's Alice's thing. Is we're trying to search for her memories. Gil was apparently brought in and just doesn't remember anything from his past. Pretty sure there's things from Oz's past he's just not remembering. Several instances of what you're saying is likely correct. Repressed trauma of some kind from all of these people.
Finally, main characters I could understand.
I do like that Break like stopped the conversation at one point to talk to Oz and be like, "Kid, that's actually kind of fucked up that you think that way. Do you want to talk about that?"
You know it's good, right?
And then they get interrupted and it gets hand waved away.
He specifically was like, "You're a little freak, aren't you, kid?" I think was how he phrased it, though. So
That was one of my favorite panels.
Yeah. He was trying to like pretend like everything's fine. He was like, "That's kind of fucking fucked up. Are you like okay?"
You're one freak.
And then it was just like silence from everybody in the room. It was like, "Oh, okay."
Like, we have to acknowledge this for a second, okay?
It would be interesting if Alice was a sign of a general motif that chains don't remember, like their mortal life or something. So it actually turns out that both Gil and Oz are chains, and it's like some kind of stand moment where chains attract other chains or something like that.
At one point, I had wondered if when the clock runs out on the incuse or whatever it's called, the like symbol on your chest, when it runs out, if like you also become a chain of some kind and lose your memories. I didn't know if that was potentially a punishment of what happened, but as far as we could tell, they just kind of die in some kind of way.
I think they mentioned you go to like the deepest part of the abyss.
Oh, the deepest part.
Yeah, you go to super hell.
Super hell.
You're too
I
gay.
was about to say.
You get to go to Hell 2, the sequel.
Oh, you know
right.
what? I'm trying to scrounge up all the things because I've been listening to the stream like as this has been happening, but I was driving, so I couldn't like write down my thoughts.
Sure.
When you guys were talking about how surprisingly straight.
Yeah, Vanitas. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just thinking about the fact that, like, oh yeah, no. I mean, if it's a thing with Oz, I don't give a shit about Sharon. Sharon. I keep wanting to call her Shannon because of Umi Neko. I don't give a shit about Sharon. Obviously, Oz and Gil were supposed to be endgame, and that's all I'll say.
I did appreciate the line that happened of like Break. I think it was Break or Gil. One of them was talking to Oz, being like, "You shouldn't trust Alice. You don't know anything about her." And he's just like, he's just like, I'm pretty sure both Sharon and I'm pretty sure like all three of you are like keeping more secrets from me than she is right now. So I don't know. You got, I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm cool with her right now.
Alice don't know shit. She can't keep secrets. She didn't have to know something in the first place.
I'm also really intrigued to see who, because Break said him and Sharon, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I'm gonna make that mistake a gajillion times, that he and Sharon are contractors, right? Which means that they are in an arrangement with a chain from the Abyss.
Yep.
I want to know who and what.
Well, for Break, it's obviously Emily.
Yeah, that's what I was assuming. I didn't know if Emily was just supposed to be like a, like just a chain, or if it was just supposed to be to make people think that that's his chain or whatever. But I was just like, oh, that one seems pretty obvious. I have no clue, Sharon. I don't think we got.
I want Emily to be nothing of plot significance. I want her to never be properly acknowledged.
That's how I want to be with Ada, the little sister. Just like her being there and being nothing for a little bit, and then it's like, oh, actually, the author hates women. Women can't be useful in the story whatsoever.
Damn.
Interesting take.
Honestly,
Wow.
the other thing I was thinking was, yeah, Break and Sharon said that they're contractors, but what if they're actually chains?
All right, and we're throwing a lot of things here.
I
all
think
at
I think
once.
I did wonder about that for Sharon. I think at some point I had wondered if Sharon was actually just a chain for Break.
Yeah.
I had wondered that, and then we were introduced to Emily, so I was like, I don't know anymore. And then and then I think oh yeah, then they explained the concept of, they were like, all right, so we've explained to you that you're actually 10 years in the future, and this is why Gil is older, and the mansion, or the house that you were at before, is like all old looking now. You're actually 10 years in the future. Your body just hasn't adjusted because time travel through the abyss has done this. Why do we look the same? Well, our excuse is we've decided that in this world, if you form an actual contract, you just don't age. You're still physically dying, I guess, or of exhaustion eventually, but you're not physically aging. And I was like, okay, that's fine for like
Only some people though. They were very
only some
specific
people.
about
Yes, I was just like,
Only
all
some
right, I'm fine with this, but also this feels like an asshole for the author. Like, okay, how do I explain these two? I want Gil to be older, but how do I explain these two not aging? It just happens sometimes with people in the contracts. I don't know.
I
think
like
the-
that, by the way. That's
If you
wonderful.
actually read the terms and conditions, you have to circle this part.
I think the
Go ahead.
way that I had interpreted that was that they didn't age because they were like on Earth in a contract with a chain, but while in the abyss, time moves differently in the abyss. So, but that's why or whatever. But I don't know. That's just
We
my
see-
assumption.
we see
That
that.
was how I
I did appreciate at least, like, I'm fine with whatever kind of excuse the author wanted to introduce the fact that they didn't age or whatever. I'm fine with it because we added in the catch that they're still going to die from like age or whatever. And specifically, Break says he probably only has like 1 year left to live. At this point, I don't know if he's lying about that or whatever, but I do appreciate that we introduce that and then give
going
him.
to turn into a big monster, and they're going to have to fight him at
Yeah,
some point
maybe.
in the story. Obviously, that's the
maybe.
conclusion that we've all come to, right?
Here's the thing that I realized though, once we were introduced to the time travel thing. Gil, if I assume that he was around Oz's age, he's just like in his mid-20s, but he looks like he's seen shit. It looks like he's seen a lot of shit in all that time.
Listen, Victorian era will do that to you.
I'm just like,
Even American Eyes does that to you.
Look, man's 24, he's middle-aged.
I was like, Break's like, I'm dying next year. I'm like, bro, are you supposed to be like 30 or something? What is this? How old is Break supposed to be? I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, like Oz disappeared when he was 14, so
Yep.
you'd assume that he'd have gone to like Oz's funeral and he'd seen like a gravestone, and then 10 years later you have your childhood friend pop up. It'd be kind of weird.
Well, so, details were left out specifically about like what happened immediately after the ceremony. So in my head, I filled in the gap about what happened for Gil afterwards as Oz disappeared and everybody else who was at the ceremony was like, what the fuck was that? What's going to happen now? And then Gil was probably accused of all the things that happened, being involved in it in some way. And that's why he is in the current state that he is in now, being a gunslinging dude who seemingly is just like an underground mercenary type for Pandora. I can't fully understand what his role was before Oz came back. But now that Oz is back,
He's part of a noble family
Wasn't
now.
he being like, wasn't he still being possessed by the other two?
I remember he got possessed again later on, but I don't think he was being possessed the whole time.
Oh.
Because I remember I had remembered he was like they got control of him in at the moment that they were revealing that this was Gil all along to Oz, because at the time Oz was just kept being like, He kind of looks like Gil if he was a little older. I don't know. That's pretty weird. It'd be nice if Gil was here. It'd be pretty nice. He just looks so much like him. I don't know. That's kind of weird. Why does the manor look? Why does the manor look like old now? That's weird. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. I was like, I had the feeling about his name. They were calling him Raven before. I had a feeling about Raven being Gil once I saw him, but I didn't realize just how much the manga was just gonna be like, huh? He kind of really looks like Gil, doesn't he, chat? Doesn't he? Looks into the camera. Don't you think? He's got like the same.
I'll be honest. Up until they're like, wow, this mansion looks really old compared to the last time I saw it. I was like, okay, it's probably like his older brother or something.
Older brother? That's very funny.
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
Of the last family's been found.
It was just so funny every time he kept mentioning it. I was just feeling him looking into the camera.
When is he gonna figure it out, guys?
Come on, Oz.
You can do it, Oz. Come on, buddy.
Now, that stuff aside, the relationship between Oz and Gil itself. I mean, obviously, there's times where Oz is like just torturing the fuck out of him as his servant or whatever, but not like he's just doing it for funsies as like a 15-year-old fucking around with his servant, I guess. But they balance that with these moments where he's just like, we're always going to be there for each other, okay? Just because you are my valet, and that means I protect you. You don't protect me. Like, this is Oz saying that to him and stuff like that. It's my duty as the guy who you've pledged your life to for me to protect you. I'm like, oh, that's sweet. And then just mixed it with him being like, yeah, I just like it when like his face is all flustered because I'm like messing with him all day. You know, it's just kind of funny. Hee. I'm like, all right, well, it's an interesting relationship that they have. And then it's I do like the addition now it's that same dynamic, but he's like in his mid-20s with like a tyrant 15-year-old dictating his life to him. And now there's guns involved, which the gun came in handy later. What was that? Say that again, Shadow?
In a true American way.
True, yes. 2 guns. He like gave one gun back, and he was like, "Give me the other one too," and he didn't. And then it paid off. Okay, it paid off. He like shot the one thing that showed up. Right? I forget which one it was, but some other chain that showed up that was starting shit. Which, by the way, they got sent in like the beginning of Volume 2. They're sent on some random mission for break, in which they're supposed to look for a certain contractor. And I guess it was they I was trying to understand what the plan was. They wanted him to get attacked by the Baskervilles while looking for the contractor and having the incident with Gil so that they could reveal to Oz that he was Gil, or what was the plan? Because they were like, we were watching the entire time. We wouldn't have let anything happen, but we really wanted something to happen. And I couldn't understand what the goal was. If the goal was to reveal that he was Gil the whole time, I'm not sure why we had to do it like that.
Something Bakersville's, something, the business intention.
Because, so, the MacGuffins that we're looking for here, we're trying to look for the intention of the Abyss. Which is this a concept? Is this a person? Is this a what is?
It's like a being.
Yeah,
okay.
It's a dollhouse.
Yeah.
It's full of dolls.
Oh,
It's Rosen Maiden 2.
finally.
That was
Are
really
you happy, Lady Galaxy?
What'd you say, Shino?
I was
No.
gonna say that's like one of the things that the terminology got translated differently, and I was like, wow, they're calling it the intention, because I think the old Fantiel used like Will of the Abyss, and I was like, wow.
Oh,
It was
I
very
see.
different feeling, even though of course like will and intention kind of mean the same thing, but it was
Sure.
very, like
Sure,
interesting
sure.
to see.
Yeah.
Speaking
And-
of Will.
Yeah. What about Will?
At one point, Gil says, "Don't think about it too much."
Oh, okay. Well, you know,
I think
such
I remember
notable,
that part.
such notable lines. And then, oh yeah, Alice was another thing I wanted to bring up at some point. I don't remember what we were directly talking about just now. Oh yeah, it was the break in Sharon setting them on a thing to do something, to see something to happen, and I guess it was to figure out, to help them figure out the location of the intention of the abyss or something. I don't know. Something. And then there was also, they had a bet going on related to Gil and Oz. I think it was like whether or not they would reveal to Oz that they are Gil or something. I don't remember.
Yes.
I just remember that we had the moment where we had like mid-20s Gil being like, "I pledge my life to you again, Oz," and it's like it's a nice moment between those two, I thought. He like leaves him at some point and he just goes right to where he would always go to at the manor when they were kids. I'm like, oh, it's like that's how Oz catches up to him. I'm like, oh, that's cute.
No, it was the ruin they fell into at the start.
Oh, the ruin, yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's cute that like he finds him though through the location for when they were growing up. And like there's a discussion between the two about like how Gil's like, I've changed. I am no longer the Gil you know. I am now what did he say it was? Gil Nightray?
Nightray, yeah.
Gilbert.
He's employed a different family.
His full name is now Gilbert Nightray. These are very
Those assholes that apparently attempted to kidnap Oz at some point.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm working for that house now. A lot of things have changed in the time you've been away. Okay, I'm a different person now. And he's like, no, you're not. You still will be there for me. And they have the moment where he's being taken over by the marionette strings of the chain or whatever, but he still finds a way to break off the strings enough to shoot the gun at the Baskerville person or Baskervilles person. I don't know if it's supposed to be plural or not. And
well, because it's the family they're referring to, so it's the Baskervilles plural.
Yeah, Baskervilles is a family, or at least it's
okay.
It is not a single person.
Okay.
Also, I'm saying that we do get a bigger picture of the guy behind the curtain.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, we do.
Yeah, later on in volume 2.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It was Battler the whole time.
It really is a Umineko reference.
It was small bombs. Okay, so that's the relations between Gil and Oz. Let's talk about the relation between Alice and Oz. How are we feeling about Alice? Anybody have thoughts about Alice?
One of the designs of all time.
What does that mean, Ari?
You wouldn't
It means
understand.
exactly. You really wouldn't understand. I'm sorry, Shadow.
That motherfucker.
What do you think it means?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
Think about
if
it.
I
Get back
knew,
to me. Alice is one of the designs of all time.
generic.
No, super cute.
I thought her design was cute. Why
I
you
don't
guys
think I've
gotta
ever heard
hate her
that phrase
design?
used in a positive
I'm not-
context.
That's
hate
true.
her.
Yeah, I've never heard that used in a positive way.
That's also not what that means, but we'll
What
let
does
Shadow
it
think what he
mean?
thinks.
What does it
means.
mean?
I think her
Explain,
design
Ari.
is cute,
It's a
but
very
I'm-
unique design. I mean,
If
I like
I-
the colors and stuff.
if I had a nickel, and I don't know if Frozen Maiden
Oh,
makes this
no.
statistic different, if I had a nickel for every manga that I read that involved a tsundere girl kissing a boy to form a contract of some kind, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice.
But
Now,
it's
you
not
see-
weird that it happens twice because it's anime.
That's true.
Now you
If
see
anything, it's weird
Andy.
it hasn't happened more.
It's true.
Hey, I don't think CL and Sebastian kiss. Oh wait, I was talking tsundere girl. How many animes have I watched with tsundere girls?
So are we?
Anyway, Alice is a great design.
Okay.
So are we
Yeah, Alice-
talking? I was gonna say, are we talking about like the thing that you were saying happened twice? Are you specifically talking about like forming a contract via kiss, or is it more specific than that? Because I know
A
plenty.
tsundere girl.
Oh,
forming a
tsundere
contract with
specifically. Okay, I understand.
Yes.
All right.
I think we can add Rose and Main to the list.
Because I didn't read Rose and Maiden, so I don't know if that like main character
I
is
can
considered tsundere.
confirm.
But
They did.
No,
It happened in Familiar Zero.
Not really.
That's how they started
Yeah,
Familiar
that-
Zero too, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I'd have 2 nickels.
Yeah, true.
2.5 nickels.
2.5.
I didn't read Rose and Maiden.
It's fine.
Well-
It happened in Naruto too.
True.
Are you for real?
True.
Sasuke's a tsundere girl, right?
Basically. I see the vision.
but
But
yeah,
both
Alice.
All right, Alice. Do you have thoughts about Alice, Ari?
No.
Oh, fair enough.
I like her design.
After all of that,
Okay, cool.
She's funky.
Yeah. That's cool.
Alice is very much like a traditional magician like character, kind of like Farina from Genshin. But it was interesting her relationship with Oz, because in Alice in Wonderland, the story's about following a white rabbit, whereas in this story, we're following a black rabbit. So it's going to
Yep.
be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah. Let's see here. So, I mean, Alice's like behavior, from what I remember, was a lot of very like aggression towards everybody, and then getting all pouty when she gets left behind for Oz to go deal with Gil. And then the tsundere moment afterwards when he comes back, be like, "Hey, what's up? Oh, sorry about that." And she's like, "How dare you?"
Pushes you off the stairs.
Yeah. That happens. It happens. It's fine. I liked
Check attempted murder. I don't know what you're talking about.
attempted murder happens. I don't know what to tell you. That's just what love is all
Average
about.
Victorian
He
era
wasn't
manga.
carrying an umbrella, so it's not attempted murder.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true. What was the other thing? Oh yeah, clocks are just a theme across all of this in one way or another. The symbol that shows on your chest during the contract, if you're in a legal contract or whatever, the stopwatch or the pocket watch or whatever they finds, the silent clock that starts ringing. These are things that keep coming up as just like a theme of things, time running out, going forward in time, and things of those sorts. That's like a symbolic theme that keeps reoccurring. I was trying to think of other symbolic themes that keep reoccurring. I just remember that being the main one, and then we had a lot of the like Alice in Wonderland inspirations and all that. Again, the other thing that which I already mentioned, the theme of repressed trauma seemingly affecting most of our cast in some way. So part of me was wondering if this is going to be similar to Rose and Maiden, in that Rose and Maiden's goal was to identify a type of problem in a person and propose ways to help them get over it in some kind of manner. In Rose and Maiden, a lot of the times his otaku nature and not otaku, hikikomori nature and all that was a lot of it was like resolved through seemingly the idea was to resolve these kind of issues through going through these social interaction with more people and address some of the incidents that have happened with you properly with that, or like just making more friends and understanding better things about yourself and others, things like that. Whereas with this, it's I'm not sure where it will go, but I had understood that it was like we're introducing the repressed trauma stuff, and perhaps we are going to introduce the concept of properly addressing these things and sitting down to talk about them instead of just assuming everything's fine. I'm not worried about the past. I'm just moving on to the future and all that. And like how Oz will act, because like you look at Oz and you're like, oh well, he's like a very positive dude in many cases despite what's happening, and then you're realizing people like Break are kind of right, where it's like, hey, maybe you need to talk to someone about this. That's kind of
like,
not healthy
he's
how you
not
deal with that.
Positive. He's given up.
Yeah, because it's
Damn,
like,
dude, you didn't need to call me out like that. Fuck off.
You didn't call me out either, Chef. What the fuck?
hey, listen.
Yeah,
Listen.
Chap, why would you say that?
Oh, what did I do? Listen, I'll just be like Break. I'll just say you're one freaky
I
kid.
don't know, you
Okay.
took the blame.
I no longer legally
My bad.
classify as a kid, Chef. You take that back.
My bad. Sorry.
I'm the
you're
one that said it, and then they decided to blame you. So
I listen.
Hey,
it
Shadow,
happens.
I
It
need
happens
you to
often.
set it. Hi. Sorry,
Hi.
that was to my cat.
Hi.
She's in my way. When I'm trying to do things like play Balatro, she likes to sit on my
my
mouse
God.
pad, so I
Balatro
can't
mention?
use my mouse.
Yo, Balatro moment.
Yo, chat, do you want to play multiplayer Balatro after this?
Wait, there's multiplayer Balatro? Wait, what the
You
fuck?
can mod Balatro to be multiplayer.
We can mod Wait, hold up. We can't talk about this now. This is Pandora Hearts talk, okay? Unless I got a Pandora Hearts deck.
After though.
We can't.
Get
we gotta
me
leave
just
this for
Pandora
later,
Hearts
alright?
deck up with this bitch. Anyway.
Alright, so okay. What other events happened?
So I think
Yep.
something, it kind of struck me that I think it's going a little bit of a different direction compared to something like Rosen Maiden, where Rosen Maiden was trying to focus on this story of weirdly executed recovery.
Emphasis on
Wasn't
try.
always the best at it, but it was trying. This feels a little bit more. There's a strong something that struck me, I guess, and this is a little half-baked, is sort of all of these like parallel themes to like not just prison but like policing.
Yep.
There's the Abyss itself being like a literal prison that is creating monsters. Literally, people go inside of it and then come out not just changed, but like violent in some way.
Yep.
There's, I mean, the name The Abyss in and of itself feels like a reference to that fucking cliche saying of like stare into the abyss for long enough and
It'll stare
take
back
care
or
that the
something.
abyss does not stare back.
Yeah.
God, I know there's more, but now I'm just completely blanking on all of it.
Jumping in quickly on the thing that you
Yeah.
mentioned about the prisons and you know, the Abyss turning them not just into monsters but violent or whatever. It also makes them have to use other people and pull them down with them, potentially consuming them or whatever too. You know, perpetuating the cycle of that kind of stuff too. Yeah.
Or generational trauma moment.
Yeah.
Oh no.
There's even, to an extent, this idea of the incuse, sort of paralleling the idea of recidivism and people like being unable to properly escape and just being caught in this cycle of like leaving prison and then because of the material situations of their lives afterwards, being unable to do anything that would then keep them permanently out of prison.
Yeah.
So you're saying they need to break the chain?
Yeah, exactly.
Break the cord that binds you.
Like I was thinking as well with that, you know, the lines being told to Oz about your sin is your very existence, you know, and I'm thinking towards the prison connection, like people who feel like they are forced into this kind of life. They had no choice in the matter of it. This is just where they had to end up. They had to do the things they had to do, end up in those kind of systems because there was no choice for them in the matter and things like that. Yeah.
sort of that combination of like what Andy was saying about generational trauma, and also sort of the like profiling that exists of marginalized communities. There's also even the specific phrasing of calling it the intention of the abyss, and tying that to intent in a murder, or criminal intent.
Yes.
And I guess where I was leading with all of that is that it feels to me like this is a story that's very much heading in the direction of examining the various and assorted reasons that people do end up committing not just crime, but like violent crime against one another.
Right. Yeah, it's a very interesting perspective that I do agree with in I think almost every way. It's pretty spot on, I think. At least so far as what we've read so far.
That also
this
makes
is
me wonder,
2 volumes in, so
yeah.
Well, that almost also like tying in like intent to murder with the like obvious underlying motifs of trauma also makes me wonder if maybe there will be like some kind of mention of when people do bad things for like out of desperation, like when you kill someone in a moment of self-defense. To a lot of people that still would be something that is like condemnable, and then in the event that you do something like that, just like forgetting it, because it's traumatic to do like go through something like that, even if like morally you were in the right, maybe possibly like your mind might not see it that way and all that kind of jazz.
Right.
Yeah.
I like how the ultimate weapon to the abyss and the intentions of the abyss are basically just guns. Like if you have a problem, you can just shoot at it and you'll solve it.
I did notice that. I was like, wow,
It
it was
does seem
actually
to solve a lot of problems.
I did notice that. I was like, wow, it was pretty easy for Oz to kill this one thing that was terrorizing them. He just shot him with a fucking gun. Oh, just one. Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty easy, actually.
America wins again. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, it seems like most of the Abyss has a very discarded toy box theme going on.
Yeah.
So the abyss is very childish. It's like it's pulling out all these childhood toys, and then it's making it haunt its former adult. Like
Yeah, I was gonna say like that reminds me of the fucking strawberry bear from Toy Story 3, and that kind of like yeah, I kept wanting to say Otto, and I was like, that cannot be right. Yeah, lots of bear. Where it's like the getting thrown away by somebody who is supposed to care about you, or even not necessarily someone that was supposed to care about you, but possibly somebody that you cared about, but they didn't necessarily reciprocate. Which you could argue you can kind of see that in like Alice and Oz's relationship, and how like that kind of emotional neglect or lack of reciprocation can lead people to becoming, closed off and corrupted in a way. Jules?
Sorry, I had to mute to deal with something. Okay, so okay. Well, we were just talking about the I don't remember what we were just talking about. What were we just talking about?
The fact that the Abyss is kind of a weird conglomeration of abandoned, fucked up toys or whatever.
Yeah. And a part of that made me wonder if Oz not knowing or us at least not knowing the history of like his dad or whatever. I didn't know if like part of his repressed trauma was feeling like he was abandoned by his parents as well or something to that nature. I wasn't sure about that, but I know he's still got Uncle Oscar.
Have we heard anything specific about his mom?
No.
Okay.
We haven't
seen
them either.
Just that she's gone. Or
Like
am
I said,
just,
the author hates
reading
women.
into that?
In many cases
yes,
like these,
obviously.
in many cases like these, I always just assume like one of them probably died and the other one is probably a more mysterious case of what happened with them. So I think in my head, I had just assumed the mom died and the dad is just gone, and that we were more concerned about what happened with the dad.
Well,
But-
because we do see the dad for like a very brief moment, and I want to say one of the flashbacks.
Okay.
I think you do.
I think we
Okay.
see him and he's leaving, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, the dad's a very public figure. He is nobility.
Yeah,
It's
nobody
an
ain't got
interesting
time for kids. Fuck them kids.
Damn. I'll just let my brother deal with my child.
I mean, why not? You know.
As long as I've had the soapbox for a second,
Yep.
I also wanted to add on just a thought that I had while listening to everyone talk. So we know that Oz's sin is something that is like inherent to his existence, at least in terms of what we've been told. We also know that part of the goal for like a lot of the people who are making contracts is to undo something that was already done. So I wonder if perhaps
He's gonna undo his existence.
that's also certainly a possibility. But what I was going was that his dad successfully undid something, probably related to like
Ooh.
Oz surviving, or Oz surviving and his mom dying.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
You know, that's a good one.
Just because that feels like it would sort of explain why we haven't seen the mom. It would tie into this idea of it would tie into all of those things, and it would also potentially tie into this idea of Oz being the key to unlock the intention, because he would be in this like idea, he would be the child of perhaps the only person who has ever successfully undone something through their contract or through the abyss.
Right. I see. So his existence in this theory would be like when they say his sin is his existence, it would be more like an error in the timeline of some sorts, where like he technically
Something
shouldn't
along
be
those
alive.
lines.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Already more
I don't
interesting
know,
uses
like,
of
what-
time travel than Sailor
I
Moon.
called it Sailor Moon. Yes.
If that is what's happening, it's more interesting. So at the very least, we're having more fun with the theories about it, because here it's more of a case of them actually doing something with it. So you know, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Fair, this is all in theory so far. So we don't
Again,
know yet.
yeah, there's all just a theory based on the first 2 volumes, which I will say the first 2 volumes do get me very interested in where this is going. I think there were times where I think mostly towards the beginning of volume 2, where I was just like, okay, so we're just going into like we're gonna just do random tasks related to the Pandora organization stuff. When are we gonna progress things? But then they rectified that for me when they used it to develop and to reveal that Raven was actually Gil, and then we can progress that. So now I don't know where the next bits are going to go with that, but we had that one bit developing Gil, and then we had a bit developing Alice more, or at least like developing Oz's understanding of Alice, and things of that nature. And then we had the hand on Oz's chest actually move. So now we know clock's ticking for you, Oz. What's going to happen when it goes fully around? So we did have the discussion about that. Once they found out that this is what's going to happen, and he does have one on him, they were like, okay, well, what do we do about this? And they're like, well, we'll figure it out later. You guys just go do your thing, just go focus on finding Alice's memories. we'll just figure out how to get rid of that later. We know a couple ways. If you like end the contract, which means Alice has to die, definitely won't be an important factor that comes up later. Don't worry about that. We'll figure something else out. We'll figure out a way to formally end the contract that doesn't involve that. Surely. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I am worried about it.
Don't worry, you're a pretty little.
It's 100% going to be like a choice or like some kind of sacrifice moment that happens later, but it's fine. It's fine because we'll find some way to bring it back.
Don't worry about
okay,
it.
all right. My bad.
Foreshadowing is a literary device.
I'm just saying he looks just like Gil. It's so weird, huh? I don't know what that's about. I'm just saying.
Like I said, brothers, obviously.
Gilbert Nightray. I just can't get over that name. It's an interesting name.
Raven Nightray.
It's so fucking edgy, dude. Or I guess it's more edgy if you use his original like pseudonym, which was Raven Nightray.
Raven Nightray, true. The Gilbert nerfs it a lot.
Gilbert dilutes the edginess.
My name's Nightray. Gilbert.
Very my immortal core.
But like all these other names sound pretty cool. Sharon Rainsworth. How do you say Break's other name? Zergs or whatever.
Sorry, how do you say his name?
Xerxes. Okay.
Yeah.
God
I will.
damn it, you got it first.
Okay,
Shit.
I will also say, if you only read the first volume and you went to AniList to check out the page, and you looked at the characters, you would already know immediately that Gil is in fact Raven, because they did not leave his profile picture to be young Gil. He is in fact old Gil on the AniList page. So if you were somebody who didn't want to get shocked by that reveal, you shouldn't have looked at the AniList page.
I don't think anybody was shocked by that.
I mean, no. Again, I was not at all shocked by it. I just thought it was funny that they just didn't even bother to like put the young version of Gil on there, on the AniList page. It's just literally, if you go onto the page, it's just Gilbert Nightray and his old Gil's photo on there, which I'm fine with at this point. But I was just like, huh. Well, I already suspected it, but if I didn't know and I checked on here, I definitely would have seen that. So, yeah.
Maybe it's like that George Foreman situation where all the sons are also just named Gilbert.
Okay, all right. What were you gonna say, Ari?
I was looking through. I quickly flipped through mine to see if they did, because a lot of manga will do like a who's who page at the beginning of a volume.
Yep.
Wait,
I didn't see that here, but I did in the back see Mochizuki's musings. Do you have those, or do you want me to read them?
We have them. The afterwards, right?
Okay.
Let me see for volume 1. So there's two things I noticed. One was the musings, which we'll read. And the other one was the Pandora hearts.
That's mine too.
I saw that too.
She has a lot of those. There's one that she did, well, several, I think.
Pandora hearts, if it was good.
They're like a couple that are like dating sim ones, and it's like, don't hurt my heart like this.
I was like, it's peak. All right, Mochizuki's Musings, Volume 1. I thought that youth was reserved for teenagers, but when I looked it up in a dictionary, youth was defined as extending all the way up until about the age of 25. It's longer than I thought. But definition aside, I want to roar like a youth forever. That's how I feel these days. And there's a little like chomping. It looks like there's some kind of creature chomping on what I assume to be a depiction of Mochizuki as like some kind of mascot form, and then there's
her little cat mascot thing.
And then I believe that is Oz in the corner, like laughing, peeking around the corner.
No, that's Break.
Oh, that's Break. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay.
Break wouldn't give that person do that.
It's Emily that's chopping down on her.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, Emily. Okay, yes. And then
Break is just laughing.
Mochizuki Musings Volume 2. I started going to the convenience store a lot after I became a mangaka, and before I knew it, I'd become friends with a middle-aged woman working part-time there. Now when I buy Odin, She gives me an extra one for free. She's so nice.
Oh.
Tears. And then the depiction we have here appears to be a rabbit punching Mochizuki as they're trying to paint a black rabbit punching Mochizuki as she's trying to paint something, and it says, "You calling me stupid, ya bum?" Interesting.
Classic.
Interesting. We gotta show off Maid Dora hearts on the stream though.
I don't have all of it. Sorry.
You got.
I one specific panel.
I just need the big page is an important one, and then also the descriptions are also important. Hold on, I know I got this.
I think trying to put the descriptions in spoil shit.
The descriptions are good. Okay, so that's good. We have that. Where is? Here we go. Yes, that
this
works.
is the
Thank you
best.
for that.
Thank you.
Look at Emily.
Okay, this is deciding not to open because Discord is an amazing program. I click.
Isn't it great?
I click open in browser and it says, okay, but what if we didn't? And I'm like, you know what? Fair enough. Okay,
Well,
now just
have
open.
you considered?
Now it just opened 3 times in browser. Okay, we'll take it. We'll take that.
It's just occurred to me, my name doesn't fully display on stream, which is very funny.
Okay. Oh. All right, so this is Maid Dora Hearts as we have here. Maids.
This is peak as we have here.
I'll read this for those of you who cannot read it. It says, Maids plus soap opera? Is such a fantasy possible? The 3 young sisters slip into enemy territory to have their revenge against the Versailles dukedom, which took everything. They do not know it is the beginning of a love-hate drama filled with sadness and betrayal. Very popular and serialized in monthly P Fantasy, on sale on the 18th of every month. This is not a real series, just a parody of Pandora Hearts by Mochizuki Sensei. There's a translator's note there. Okay, don't worry about that. Characters information. We have Alice, reckless third sister. She's a maid, but she's bossy and kicks before she talks. She's actually quite shy. Sharon, intelligent and ladylike second sister. She picks up after Alice, who acts without thinking. Apparently she's scary. She's scary if you make her angry. Ada, who, this is where I was like, oh yeah, Ada's a character. Where has she been? Ada, the oldest sister who is timid and frightened of everything. There is apparently a reason for her Lolita appearance, ? Then we have Oz, daughter of the Versailles family, a beautiful girl whose health is frail. An incident causes her to get acquainted with Alice. And then lastly, we have Gil and Break, white maids hostile to the black maids, the 3 sisters. Their mistress is the Duchess, and they always try to pick a fight with the 3. We have to read all of Maid Dora Hearts as well. This is important. Okay, we have to subscribe to this. We have to find the serializations. We need to get Mochizuki on the phone right now. We have to.
Please stop serializing the case study of Vanitas.
Maid Dora Hearts, please. You said they turned it into like a visual novel later too, or like a fake visual novel thing.
No, at the end she does a lot of these little fake concepts. So some of them are like. A couple of them are like dating sim ones.
I see.
I gotta mention, by the way,
yep.
You know, as Late Galaxy mentioned during our last stream, ask your local doctor if Made Effort's right for you. I gotta say, Break, he's a little too good with it, you know, like suspiciously.
That's just the character archetype. Don't worry about it.
He knows where he is a little too well.
I think
You could say he was made for it.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh my god.
I appreciate this.
I remember one scene with Break where he just shows up, he talks, he pisses off Alice, and then he just goes into like a kitchen cabinet and leaves. Yeah, he just like, all right, I'm gone now.
My job here is done.
I don't think I can get any of you to understand how much Break is like the Undertaker from Black Butler. Like, just take my word for it, but also know that I'm being completely and utterly serious. You know?
Yeah,
Andy?
yeah.
Huh?
Andy, I believe you.
Do you know it? Have you read
No.
it? Have you seen it? None
No,
of you know Black Butler.
But we believe you. We trust you.
Alright.
No, I just trust you. It's okay.
You're far more knowledgeable on
appreciate that.
you're far more knowledgeable on it than we are. Don't worry. You're the Black Butler expert here. Don't worry. We believe you.
I need to mention something, okay? Every time you say The Undertaker, I'm thinking of wrestling, and it's very funny for me.
What?
Yeah, the Undertaker wrestler.
Yes.
The Undertaker would wrestle.
Well,
I mean, the Undertaker does
sure.
wrestle.
The Undertaker does wrestle.
Well, I don't know how much he does anymore. I don't follow.
I think he's retired.
Because I remember they
fucking
brought him
killed
back
him.
for like one event. I don't know if he's still back. I don't know. I don't keep up with that much. Anyways,
Look, he was the unbeatable final boss of wrestling, except for the one time he lost.
where did the? Oh, here it is. I tried to get one of the. Here it is, the Volume 1 special thanks page, which also has some nice art of the whole cast in different outfits.
Oh, we also got Gillier twice. How cool.
Based.
Which is very funny in hindsight.
Yeah, I liked oh wait, can we show off some of the chapter arts that we noticed? One of them was like Ari being like, why do they keep mentioning him being in the mafia? And
well, like some of y'all had commented that, like, wow, he's got
about
real
him being
mafioso
Italian
vibes.
or
and then Aztec posted that chapter artwork where he's literally dressed as a mafia boss.
yeah, here it is. Here it is
It's a
for the
great
stream.
photo.
You know, Italy wins again is all I can say.
What's the other one?
Yeah, that one.
Someone posted one I
The
thought was nice.
pinstripes, the hat, the gun, like.
Gun in one hand, ice cream in the other.
This chapter art. What was the other chapter art? I thought there was another one somebody posted.
Or somebody did.
There's one
I
panel
forgot.
that I love.
Yeah.
It just makes me laugh.
What's
Oh,
that?
I know which one. Hold on, I'll pass it.
Yeah,
I'll pass it.
that one.
Oh, that one, yeah. For some reason, there was a part where when I first saw that, in my head it was me like, I'm the Joker, baby.
the little Emily, just Joker smiling too.
I really enjoy the implications of like the organizations. You have like the Baskervilles, which we'd assume would be British. Then you have Oz, who's like French, German, Italian.
Yep.
And then you have the church, which is going to be very fun. Because we have like all these symbols of crosses. So I'd assume there'd be like some sort of Catholic church or police force that would be fun to watch.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. I think, trying to think what else we have to discuss about this. Is there anything anybody wants to bring up for topics of discussion that we haven't yet that they can think of or wanted to talk about or, anything?
I just want to talk about the time period. It's a
Yeah.
very interesting location.
Say that again. Talk about the.
The time period. It's like just the setting and location. Because like, it's very all over the place, I'd say.
Oh yeah.
Because
Oh,
I mean,
oh,
we
yeah,
start
I
off.
think
in, like,
I saw
the-
you writing a little bit about this in the chat. Can you elaborate for the stream?
I mean, we start off in like the countryside, so we have like a French manor, and then after time passes, we go into like an urban location or a city, the capital, right, Revel, and it looks very much based on Big Ben or just industrialization. So you have all these gas lamps, and so it's very interesting. Just the location as a whole, we're kind of set in like Victorian era London. You have all these interesting technologies going on with revolvers, photograph, chain links, even belts, and like the felt hat that Gilbert's wearing, which is like a reference to like the Mad Hatter's disease in Alice in Wonderland. So I think it's a very interesting setting for Pandora Hearts. Victorian era has always got some great fashion, and so all the character designs are really cool.
I think I remembered the name of the town having a translator's note at the end about how the capital name is derived from the French word for alarm clock, going back to
What
the
if
theme of
the
clocks and all that.
grave is his mom's grave.
That's
Oh,
what I was thinking, but then
no.
I feel like they would have said
It
that.
won't be on the ground.
I feel like they would have said that, or like noticed it, or remembered.
But, like-
I don't know.
Well, because it would have had to have been like his dad telling him, pretty
Yeah,
much,
and, like,
his
if
dad
they
is just gone.
And if they didn't put a name on it, or the name was like so rubbed away that they weren't able to identify it,
Maybe.
then because I was just thinking while you guys were yapping, I was listening, I promise. But I was also thinking that like that grave seems pretty important and we don't know whose it is. Or at
It's
least it
definitely
seems like an important location. They've mentioned it at least twice.
Well, it's important too because that's where they found the weird watch that they were like,
Mhm.
"What is? Who's
I'm sure
this
that doesn't
about?"
mean anything.
No, it doesn't mean anything at all. No, it's fine.
I don't think any of it means anything. It's
No,
just
no.
fiction. It's
Yeah,
just
that's true.
words.
At the end of the day, none of this actually happened. So
What if Alice
like,
is his mom?
Oh,
We're not getting back to the Umi
we're
Neko
getting
theories.
what if Battler Sin?
What if Vito is Battler's mom?
I was just thinking like what if the grave is his
What
mom's
if-
grave, but also it's Alice's grave?
What if Oz is Beatrice?
no. What if Sharon is Beatrix, huh? You think about that one, Chip?
I believe that one actually.
What if
Was she
Greg
not Beatrice?
Xerxes is Beethel?
One of you guys said something on my drive home where I was like, oh my gosh, like you could replace Beatrice's name and it would be the same, but now I can't fucking remember what it was. Can we have book club start an hour later?
No.
No. That's like my 5th favorite Nyan sound.
Wow.
It's
He's
like
got a
always
list
good.
going. He's got a
It's
list
a
going.
complimentary thing to say, honestly.
He's got a list going here. Okay.
Okay, wait, no, Shadow. I do need you to do your best approximations of your favorite Nyan sounds.
I
now.
can't. I couldn't.
No,
They're
I
too perfect.
desperately need you to.
I can't.
Commit to the bit, Shadow.
What
I
would
can describe them.
Oz say about this situation? I don't know.
Something
Well, Oz would throw a
sociopathic.
cat at Shadow
Probably.
because apparently Shadow's afraid of cats.
Oh damn.
I'm not afraid of cats.
That's
I just treat animals with contempt.
What?
Damn!
What? What does this mean? What?
Oz was a sociopath.
New lore drop.
I have a lot.
Whoa, what? Hey, yo, what?
Okay.
What did they do to you?
I dog did multiple times. My parents laughed at me.
Oh damn.
Oh! Hey man, you gotta move out of your parents' house. There's something about the way that
think
you
this
talk
is
about
a discussion for a later
Yeah.
time.
All right, so Break is the Joker. Oz
baby.
has
Joker, baby.
Oz needs to find a therapist.
I think everyone
most of the
does.
English
Probably
but-
several characters do.
Alice seems
Some more than
normal, actually.
others.
Guys, how would you feel if Break was your therapist?
I
really great.
I think that's the
don't.
problem, though. Like,
Yeah,
Oz has
that's.
a therapist, and it's Break Xerxes.
I think I think just on principle, if I have a therapist named Break, I don't know if I would trust that. I just symbolically, I don't think
you're
that's gonna
already
work out.
What if the therapist is Emily, actually? And Break's just there.
I
babysitting?
believe
We
Emily
can't
would do
move
a
on.
good
You
job.
have
Is it just that puppet therapy?
Yeah, Emily is the good therapist. Break is the devil on your shoulder.
Spaghetti, how good of a therapist would Emily be?
Emily would be an amazing therapist. The joke is that you think Break is the therapist, but it's actually Emily who's the one running the whole show. And Break is just smiling like that the whole entire time.
Break is just sitting in the whole session.
Just slowly sipping on his tea.
Fully
Not only-
breaking
not only is there
confidentiality.
putting Emily on your shoulder, there's also
Slightly
putting
too
Break on your
invested
shoulder.
in everything you're saying.
So Emily is Break's rubber duck, basically. He just tells it all its
Emily
problems.
is real. I will say that they went through the trouble of giving her her own typeface, which I love. The little swirly, curly
True.
little font is so cute. And I'm like, yep, she's real.
I noticed that too. I was like, oh, I see that. I see it. I noticed. I
Man,
didn't
I
go...
swear if Break is just a really good ventriloquist.
Really good ventriloquist.
You just can do that, yeah.
I give him my entire deck just to learn his tricks.
Dude, you gotta scare Gil.
He's already gone.
Do you
You're
think
gonna-
Gil got over his fear
You're gonna
of
scare
cats?
Gilbert
No.
Nightray.
No, he didn't.
Raven Nightray is very terrified of cats, okay? Don't bully him.
Gil Raven Knight
That's because he's Raven. That's
Yeah,
a bird.
that's
You gotta be scared of
That's true.
cats.
That's true. It makes sense.
That's so Raven.
It's in the name. That's so Raven. Yep. He sees the future.
He sees the future.
No,
There's a lot of
indeed.
cats for some reason.
I have a question about the story. It's like
Yes.
when they get their contract, do they get like a necklace or like some sort of trinket of some sort, or is like the trinket come first and then they form a contract? How does that work?
Huh?
Because
What?
I think both Break and Oz had like some sort of necklace or symbolism of like their contract, and I'm like not
they?
100% sure how that plays into the whole
Well-
chains and whatnot.
Oz has the stopwatch, but the stopwatch kind of came before the contract, not the stopwatch.
Well, so
Pocket
the
watch.
stopwatch, the pocket watch he found, and then he had the dream sequence or whatever kind of weird instance of meeting Alice immediately after finding it. So that is something to potentially think about, but I don't know if that was just a coincident moment that happened. It'd be a wild coincidence that happened. It's fine. I'm sure the pocket watch is not very significant. Don't worry. It won't come up again. Definitely not. But Break, what was Break's trinket that you noticed? I'm trying to see if I remember the trinket.
Oh,
Emily,
yeah.
obviously.
The gun.
Emily
The
is not
gun. The gun is the trinket.
True American.
It's just my little trinket, you know? This is
It's my emotional
Uh,
support trinket that I can't bring through an airport.
They don't have airplanes yet. It's fine.
That's Emily.
Oh,
Emily
okay.
gets her own ticket on the airplane.
Oh, okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Break has to have an
She's the one who
empty seat
crashes
next
it.
to him because Emily won't leave his shoulder, but she's considered a child, so she does have to get her own seat.
Listen, I've been rewatching Lost as of today, and the main thing that I've remembered about Lost is that a lot of what happens is based on whatever stuff they happen to have had on the plane by circumstance. And like one of the characters was planning to go on like a big walkabout tour in Australia, so he checked in like a fuck ton of knives in a suitcase that they just kind of had now because he checked them in. And things like that. So now I'm just thinking, if all these characters from Pandora Hearts got onto a plane together, what kind of shit they would have to survive if they ended up on an island afterwards.
Hold on. Why do you need so many knives? Again, you know,
Well,
she's
he brought a lot of knives because he was going to be going on like a big like hunting tour thing.
Sometimes
so
you
he
just
brought a bunch of
own a
them.
lot of knives.
What, are
you
you gonna
know,
planes haven't
reuse
been
a knife
invented
like some kind of
What's-
peasant?
What's wrong with owning a lot of knives, man?
like,
I say holding a knife.
Whoa! Let's calm down. Let's calm down now.
Knife, actually, but this is true.
No, you're getting mugged.
Oh god! Oh fuck! Am I breaking up? Oh, I think
Not
my
for me.
connection is. Oh, I think my connection is dying. Stream. Give me a moment. Stream. I think my connection is dying. I think my connection to the internet in general is
Dying.
fine. Yeah, my connection to the in general it's Discord breaking. Discord.
Oh, it's
dying
not
a
just
bit.
me this time. How quaint.
It
All right,
did.
No,
I
it
think-
is Discord because like everybody
Yeah,
started having
okay.
issues.
All right, we seem to be back now. Nothing was happening on like my OBS end, so everything was fine with that for the stream, but the Discord was dying for a bit. So anyways, I think that was the Discord's way of saying lost. We're getting a little lost in the discussion almost in a way, perhaps. So
Get out of
let's wrap this up. I think we're getting close to pretty much wrapping this up. Let's go over our
Perfect.
Are we breaking up again? Oh, we're breaking up again. Okay. Well, let me wait a bit. Okay, maybe we're back. Are we back?
Yeah, we are.
All right. I think we're
Absolutely fucking incredible timing on that.
For,
Okay.
for the next 2 minutes, so
Well-
you gotta be fast, man.
Well, I know at least the stream can hear me perfectly fine. Won't be able to hear you guys perfectly fine. And it's dying again. Yeah. Well, Discord is a very fun place. It needs to not die. All right. Well, we'll wait a bit. Aztec is saying night, y'all. Oh boy. Okay. All right. So Aztec is gone. He has said good night. That is perfectly fine. I'm just listening for the Twitch stream. Wow. Thank you for that. Hopefully the Discord's back now. Are we back now? It doesn't seem to be dying anymore for me. Chat room.
Should be fine.
I can hear you for a little bit.
Let's find out.
What? Let's find out. So Aztec is gone. So the thing I wanted to ask you guys was, let's wrap this up with any general thoughts about the series so far. What, how we like it so far. What things we want to happen. What things we think might happen. What are we thinking? Let's start alphabetically. Andy, what did you think about the first 2 volumes, and what do you want to happen? Oh, I think the connection died a bit. Oh, it is dying a bit. Oh,
After your break.
no, it's everybody breaking up
Okay.
here. It's everybody. Okay, give it a bit.
I'll
Okay. All right. Well, that's fine. Andy said my answer is it is fun. Okay, well, that's fair enough. Wait, are we back now? Are we done shifting through dimensions? I think we might be. Oh, no, we're not. I'm looking forward to finishing it. Okay. So Andy thinks it's fun.
So Jover.
Andy thinks it's fun, and they're looking forward to finishing it. Wow. Sweet. Are we? I'm like watching Discord to see if it starts dying again. And it looks like it's fine now. Okay. As far as I know, it is fine now. But Lady Galaxy also wrote in chat, every time chat goes, is it done? Discord fucks up again. It would never fuck up on me. It would never. See, it looks like it's fine now.
Discord's a perfect app, and we've never had issues with it before.
That's true. Andy, what do you want to have happen with the series?
Death.
Oh, death and destruction. Okay.
Ask and you shall receive.
Well, Ari,
I mean,
you've already.
Our stream is like.
What? Your stream is like.
No, I was gonna comment. Our stream is kind of rated R because like I think 80% of our series results in a character death.
That's
For a
true.
book club.
That's true. We did check, and most of them.
100%. It's 100%. 100%.
Well, not New Game. There wasn't any death in New Game, right?
Yeah. Elba's NPC.
They
died.
kill
So far,
the
the-
character.
Oh, that's true. That's true. You said
Yeah.
Alba's NPC died. Okay. All right. My bad. That's true. There was a death. It was impossible to prevent.
So-called New Game fan.
I mean, is it death?
Yes.
Sorry.
All right. Ari, you already know what happens, but what do you think of returning to the beginning of the series?
Still pretty good.
Yeah, still based. Is there anything you noticed this time that you didn't notice before?
Not really.
Okay. Alrighty.
Yeah, it's good. Still good.
Still good. Still holds up. That's good to hear. Lady Galaxy, what did you think of the first 2 volumes of Pandora Hearts, and what are you hoping for?
I like it so far. It's interesting. That's what I'm hoping for. I think about halfway through, they should just open up a maid cafe.
True.
Yeah.
And that should
Based.
be just the rest of the series.
Maydor Hearts real?
I
So
think
we're full
halfway
of
through
familiar
they
zero
should
ways,
become a Bishoujo company.
True. That's good. That's based. All right. Well, thank you for that, Lady Galaxy. Shino, what did you think of the beginning of Pandora Hearts, and what are your hopes for it?
Good as I remember. I think it's nice that it kind of held up over time. Alice is very cute, as always. I'm looking
Hell
forward
yeah.
to more of the cute girls showing up.
Yes. Hell yes, definitely. Sinnerman V4. What did you think? And what do you want?
I'm liking it so far.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe something about this wasn't mentioned, but Break said, "Hey, Oz, where are you? I can't seem to reflect you in my eyes for some reason."
Ooh, I forgot about that. The fact that it
I don't know if
seems
that's
like
gonna
almost
matter
like
or
his
not.
soul or a part of him is missing.
Yeah, that was after he called him a freaky kid, right?
Yeah.
I think, and he
As
was
you
just
do.
like, I just
Or
don't
he's just
see
a
you.
piece on the game board.
Perhaps.
Oh shit.
Oh no, it's
Sorry,
Umineko.
I agree. Anything else, Shadow?
Me too. No, it's that. Oh no, it's that. That'll be everything.
That's what Jules has to say about Pandora Hearts.
Fair enough. That's a good review.
Very eloquently put.
Turndo, what did you think of the beginning of Pandora Hearts, and what are your hopes for the series?
Really enjoy the character design. I really enjoy the time period and the historical accuracy. And echoing on Andy's point, I want to see a war. I want to see either the Prussian army, the French army, or the British army. One of those things has to happen because there's no police, obviously. We haven't seen any policemen with
Turned
guns.
out, I heard you say Depression Army, and I was like, that would be so sick. Yeah, the
I love Steven
Depression
Universe.
Army.
The Depression Army.
I
For
think
new
you said
characters,
Prussian.
I said, yeah, Prussian, the German.
Okay.
And then for new characters, I either want to see like a token American or a token like Russian character come in just for some comedic
But
effect.
Toronto, we already
that would
have
be
right
really
now.
Gil's got 2 guns. I don't know. We're getting close. I don't know.
Yeah, but he's not American. Like
That's
like
true.
we saw them drinking coffee, so America just
Correct,
became a
Toronto,
country.
Toronto.
That's
You
true.
He
understand,
needs at
America's the
least
state
a
of mind.
third gun that he uses.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
he just carries in his mouth.
Like Zorro.
What? Like Zorro. All right.
I actually, in the vein of what Turndo was saying, I really would like to see a Cheshire Cat character that isn't just like a toy. I think we briefly saw like what looked like it might have been an actual Cheshire Cat in that like opening splash. But like in the Oran High School Host Club episode, they had Hikaru and Kardu serve as like the Cheshire Cat. And I think that it'd be fun to see somebody actually like behave like a Cheshire Cat and not just be a chain or a toy of some kind.
Right. Okay.
And just as a morbid theory, I kind of want this all to be Gilbert's delusion because he's getting mercury poisoning from his felt hat. That's just morbid.
Okay.
This is his vision as he's dying on the floor.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, he has Mad Hatter's disease, and he's all this internal trauma. Is just imagining this fantasy world where Oz is still alive, and then like all these magical things are actually happening. When it's just he's kind of depressed and he's like 24 years old.
I could be, maybe.
Hold on. That I also want Merpeal to happen at some point.
Of course you do. I mean, why not? Fuck it.
I mean, it has to happen.
Fuck it. Why not? Fuck it. All right. I very much enjoy the beginning of this. I'm very excited to see where it goes. Specifically, I'm enjoying the addressing the potential future addressing of Oz's repressed trauma and things like that. Like I think I enjoy him as a character, but also I immediately like break. I'm like, okay, but you're probably not acting like in a healthy way for what's going on with you. So I'm interested to see where that takes him, and how he deals with that and how it helps him grow. And I do think it's very interesting to contrast that with that journey that he's going to go on with how we just time skip to Gil having already gone through a whole bunch of his own shit that we don't really know the details about fully. So I like that, and I'm very interested to see more about how that goes. So I'm enjoying it. And Baguetti, what did you think of the beginning of Pandora Hearts? Or revisiting it at least, because I know you've read it before, right? So
the first volume, I will have to say, is one of the weirdest quinceañeras I have ever read, ever heard about.
True.
Nothing will top that.
Fuck, that's
Nothing
so
will
real.
top that.
There's definitely one to remember. Yes.
Can we get Oz and
I-
the quinceañera just please, Sheena? Can you get that?
I know I've already read it, but I honestly, I'm looking forward to re-seeing all the art. I love the art so much, and I still love the art. So, I mean, I'm a fan of their work. I love Vanitas as well, but it's great. I just love the style. I think I was fatigued from the Alice in Wonderland themes because that's when I was getting into anime, like during that era where everything was Alice in Wonderland. But I think the ones that stand apart are the ones with the best style, and that was very much a part of the original story. Is that's what it's known for, the weird illustrations, and so I'm just looking forward to re-seeing all of those pieces of art, and maybe I'll have to hunt for the art book. I kind of regret not getting them at the time.
Right.
I think there's 2 main ones now, and then the 20th anniversary one, or 15th anniversary one. I mean,
Okay.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to steal that box from Ari as well.
Yeah, true. That's just, it has to happen. Yeah.
There's no way around it.
It's book club property now. It has to happen.
Your local library.
Yeah, now that our local library burned down, you know, we're gonna have to start stealing manga from other members of the club.
From specifically Ari.
It's
Yeah.
a group pool. Okay, I mean, I have all of Oron physically. I'll donate those.
True. You'll distribute them all to us through like
You can
mail.
keep that, actually.
Yeah.
I'll do it in
What's in my
Page by page.
All right. Any other thoughts or concerns or anything else anybody wants to bring up before we wrap it up for this week? All right. With that in mind, thank you so much, everybody, for being here for another exciting book club discussion. We'll be back as usual next Thursday. We're no longer in the break weeks anymore now that I'm back from the con, so we'll just be back next Thursday with the next volumes 3 and 4. If you are somebody who is listening to this and wishes to be a part of these discussions, you can join us at discord.wolfborg.com. Come in there, grab the Anime Book Club role, and you can come hang out with us and leave your thoughts in there. If I see your thoughts in that chat and or in comment sections of videos, I will be sure to try to read them out when we get a chance. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. If you want to listen to these live, you can check out YouTube, Twitch, or Kick. All these links, we host them live on there at the same time, starting at 9 o'clock Eastern every Thursday. You can find links to all these things at my website, wolfborg.com, or if you just type the website like youtube.wolfborg.com, twitch.wolfborg.com, kick.wolfborg.com. All these things, subscribe, follow, all that kind of stuff. And we're going to send you guys off to somebody else now. So thank you guys so much for showing up. Who are we going to send you guys to today? By stream, we will send you over to let's see. Oh, Corpse is playing.
Germa probably needs the views.
Yeah, you know, that's true. That's true. Germa could definitely use our book club help, but
We have to lift up the little guys, you know?
we're gonna send you guys over to Corpse. Corpse is playing the Elden Ring Night Rain DLC, which I hear this has the Evanescence song in like an official trailer for them, I guess. So
Thank goodness.
That's so
all right.
goaded.
Well,
Emily would love that.
Oh, what was the other thing? That was one wild thing. The other wild thing was today finding out Pecora in Death Stranding 2. Oh boy. Anyways, thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you next week, next Thursday, same time, for Pandora Hearts. Bye stream. Bye stream.
Bye.
Bye.